It's time for the gentle vinyasa yoga, the gentle restorative yoga blend. In this class, we'll be doing a combination of things, including restorative work, which is why I have a pile of bolster pillows, blankets, even towels, even a washcloth for an eye pillow if you like. Because when we go into our restorative poses, we do hold those for several minutes, and it can become uncomfortable sometimes if we're not used to it. Poses you might normally hold briefly, you hold them for an extended period of time, it'll be a little bit harder, so we use lots of bolstering to protect ourselves. So we have lots of time to enjoy the pose, let the joints open up and relax and melt into it. We'll be starting with just some straight up gentle yoga. Today we're starting in a seated pose, an easy seated pose, Sukhasana. It's always nice to sit on a blanket. This helps get your hips higher off the floor. Also pads your hips, of course, but brings our hips higher relative to our knees. Let's start sitting tall, shifting the weight from side to side, just to ground the sits bones evenly into the floor so we feel like we're balanced out here. And stack the spine tall. Imagine a string pulling the crown of your head up toward the ceiling, so you're lifting and lengthening. We can roll our shoulders back and down. Let's relax our hands on our thighs, palms up or palms down, it's your choice. We sometimes say palms down is more grounding, palms up is more receptive of the energy. So your choice. Let's softly close our eyes. Just bring awareness to the breath. Feel the air flow in and out through your nose. Now bring the awareness to your belly. And as you inhale, think about expanding the belly. And as you exhale, drawing the navel in, pressing the air out. Inhale to expand. Exhale to squeeze the air out. And just follow your own pace, using this belly breath, nice and deep, really filling the lungs when you inhale, squeezing the air out as you exhale. Bringing lots of oxygen into the body. Let's just breathe normally. Inhale deeply through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. Seal the lips. Practice breathing in and out through the nose if possible. Using Ujjayi breath, that's our ocean breath. You just lightly constrict the back of your throat so your breath becomes audible to you. It sounds like the ocean. Sounds like Darth Vader. Sometimes we call it Darth Vader breath. Let's open our eyes. Let's grab our knees. Sit up tall. We'll do a seated cat-cow. Inhaling, we'll lift the chest. Exhaling, we'll scoop and crunch the abs in. Inhale to lift and expand. Exhaling to scoop. Inhaling, we lift. Exhaling, we scoop. Coming back to neutral. Let's slide the rib cage to the right side. Come back to center. Slide to the left side. Come back to center. Right. Center. Left. Center. Now we're going to stir the pot. We're going to lift into cow. Exhale, scooping around to the side, then into cat. Inhaling, around the side, back to cow. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling around and around to cow. One more time. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, lift. Pause here. Reverse directions. Exhale to the other side, scooping into cat. Inhale, lifting into cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more round. Coming back to center. Let's just switch the cross of our legs to even things out. You might want to shift your sits bones again just to make sure you're grounded. Bring your fingertips down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to press. Inhale up. Exhale down. For 3. For 2. For 1. Next time we'll just inhale the right arm up. We'll exhale it over. We'll just hang out here for a couple of breaths. You might want to spiral the chest up toward the ceiling, trying to open the front body. Using breath to expand the right side of the ribs. We can slide that left hand farther out if we like. We could drop to the elbow if we like, finding more openness here. On the next inhale, we can lift back up. You can exhale the right hand down. On the next inhale, we'll float the left arm up and exhaling it over. Again, we can spiral the chest up for more openness in the front body. We can slide the right hand farther out. We can use breath to expand the left side of our rib cage. Let's inhale up and exhale down. Let's go into owl pose now, stacking the spine tall before we take our rotation. Let's bring the right hand to the left leg and the left hand behind the back. And you can always make a fist if you want to press your knuckles into the floor to press yourselves up, or you can press your palm down if you like. Lifting the chest nice and tall, inhaling, then exhaling, turning, twisting to the left. Finding whatever range works for us today. Inhaling tall, exhaling, twisting farther if you'd like to. Perhaps looking over the shoulder. Coming back to center, through center. Left hand coming to the right leg. Right hand sweeping behind. Palm down or knuckles down, your choice. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take that twist. Pause to inhale even taller. Exhale farther, perhaps looking over the shoulder. Finding spinal twist. Relaxing back to center, coming now to butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. You can have your heels about the distance of one of your feet from your torso. Grabbing the ankles, we're stacking the spine like we did in cow pose to start. Inhaling tall, exhaling to fold forward from the hips. Without rounding the back, keeping a lift in the chest. If we can bring our elbows down to the inner thighs, we can then lightly press into the thighs. Each inhale is a chance to extend your spine even longer, and each exhale a chance to perhaps sink a little deeper. Opening up our hips. We're doing a few hip opening things today. This is one of them, bound angle pose. Rising back up. If you have a belt or a strap you'd like to use, let's keep that handy. You don't have to have it. Don't worry about it if you don't. I'm going to roll to one side, put my blanket aside, come onto my back for constructive rest. I'm going to plant my feet. I keep my feet a little bit wider than my hips for constructive rest so that my knees can fall in. I can just relax here for a breath or two. Now, I want to do my hamstring stretch. And if I don't have a strap, I'm just going to grab my left thigh. I'm going to slide my right leg out and extend it. Think about keeping that right leg as long and as low as you can. Really actively pressing out through that heel, even though I'm working on the left leg more right now. If I have a strap, I'm going to wrap it around the ball of the foot. So either holding on to the strap or holding on to the thigh. Let's inhale to extend up. And exhale to draw down and push the air out of the belly. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze the air out. Now let's inhale back up. Let's keep it up this time. Let's check that other leg, that right leg is straight and strong, and that we're sinking the left hip down to the floor, not hiking it up. Now, pressing up to the heel, drawing with the arms, bringing that leg a little farther forward, deepening the hamstring stretch. We can use our sinking breath here. We inhale to expand, we exhale, and a little bit more stretch in those hamstrings. This leg need not be locked out completely. It can have a tiny micro bend in the knee. We're going to hold this for a few breaths to give those hamstrings in the back of the thigh a chance to relax and release. If you reach a point where you can't go any farther, that's fine, just hang out there. If it becomes painful, back off a little bit. Relax back down. Extend the leg, we'll just shake those legs a little bit. Now we're going to extend out through that left heel, keeping that left leg low and long. You can draw the right thigh in, either hanging onto the thigh itself or wrapping our strap around the ball of the foot. Inhale, extending up. Exhale, squeezing the air out of the belly. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze the air out. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Let's press it back up and hold it up this time. Again, let's think about making sure we're keeping that hip sinking down so we're not hiking the hip up to try to get a deeper stretch. That won't help us, actually. Inhaling and exhaling, we can pull a little harder, pull a little farther into our hamstring stretch. Again, keeping that little bit of a micro bend in the knee, not locking it out completely. Moving with each breath until we can't move any farther, backing off if we need to. Taking a few breaths here. Really giving the muscles a chance to release. Let's bring that knee in and extend the leg back out. We'll shake it out. Bend both knees. Let's cross the left ankle over the right leg, keeping the left knee open, like our number 4 for our supine pigeon or 4 stretch. And grab that right thigh. Now there's also an option to wrap the strap around the ball of your foot here and pull on the strap. I'm going to do the thigh option today. Just pulling both hands on the right thigh, opening the left hip. Again, we're hip opening today, it's our theme. Pressing the left elbow into the left inner thigh. Find a tiny bit more openness there. Now lowering that right foot down, we can slide the left knee over the right knee. We can brace the arms against the floor. We can let the legs roll to the right. Getting our spinal twist, keeping our shoulder blades down. Option here to drape both arms to the left side. Just deepening that spinal twist a little bit. On the next inhale, we can raise those legs back to center. We can uncross. Switching sides, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh, keeping the right knee open like a number 4. Either wrap your strap around the ball of your left foot or grab your left thigh with both hands, hugging in, pressing the right elbow against the right inner thigh. Hip opening stretch, supine pigeon. Breathe into it. Remember, your stretches should never be painful. Your yoga poses should never be painful. If anything hurts, back off it. Now floating that left foot back down to the floor, sliding the right knee over the left knee, grounding the shoulder blades, letting the legs fall to the left. You can drape the arms to the right side. Spinal twist. Lifting back to center, uncrossing the legs. Let's plant our feet about mat width apart, a little wider than our hips, with our knees falling inward. And we'll just sway the legs from side to side. Let's roll on over to the right side, stacking hip over hip and shoulder over shoulder. Let's draw our knees up into a side-lying tabletop, a right angle bend at the knee and hip. With our arms extended out, we're going to open like a book. We're going to inhale to lift up, and exhale to open. Inhale to lift, exhale to close. Inhale up, exhale open. Inhale lift, exhale close. This time we're going to inhale up, exhale to open, and we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Let's inhale to lift, exhale to close. We're going to switch sides. You can just roll to your other side. I'm going to flip end to end so I can still face forward here. On the other side, again, we're stacking hip over hip. We're stacking shoulder over shoulder. You have that side-lying right angle bend in the knees, that side-lying tabletop. Arms out straight, palms together. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to open. Inhaling up. Exhaling closed. Inhale up. Exhale open. Inhale up. Exhale close. This time, inhale. Exhale and hang out here for a couple of breaths. Let's inhale up and exhale closed. And now we're going to come onto our hands and knees. If you'd like to put a blanket underneath your knees for comfort, that's fine. If you'd like to make fists for wrists, that's fine. Let's ground our knees directly beneath our hips, our wrists directly beneath our shoulders, drawing the abs in, lengthening the spine, sliding shoulder blades back, down, toward our back hip pockets, lengthening the neck. Let's inhale into cat, exhale to cow, inhale for cat, exhale for cow, inhale for cat, exhale for cow. Coming back to neutral spine now. We can just shift our hips from side to side, getting a light stretch in the sides of the hips. Coming back to center, we're going to do the barrel roll now. We're going to inhale to lift into cow, then exhale, rolling around, scooping into cat, inhaling around, back to cow. 2 more times, one direction, rolling the hips in a circle. Pausing to reverse. Barrel roll in a circle. 1 more time. Coming back to neutral. Let's extend the right leg back. the left arm forward for spinal balance. Focusing on the core. We can sway the arm and leg front and behind us if we like. Working from the inside out to maintain stability in the spine. Coming back to neutral. You can float the hand and leg back down. Now extending the left leg back, pressing back through the heel, right arm forward, hanging out here for spinal balance or swaying. Keeping awareness in the core, maintaining stability. Coming back, forward and back down to hands and knees. Let's step the left foot forward. Now, if you have blocks or a bolster you'd like to use here, just keep it handy now because we might want to use it in another pose or two. Coming into this low kneeling lunge, I've got my toenails of my back foot down on the mat. I'm going to frame my front foot. I have my right hand inside the foot, my left hand outside the foot. Let's come to a nice long spine and inhale, lift that outside hand, that left hand up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Now let's inhale and rise up to Anjaneyasana. If you want to walk your front foot further forward to find more openness in this back leg and this right leg and this hip, go right ahead. Find some breath here. Think about pressing your hips forward and down, opening those hips. Upper body. If you want to keep your arms in cactus or prayer hands, those are also fine options to use here. Now pressing back to Hanumanasana. If you want to hold blocks with your hands, give yourself some more height off the floor, that's fine. Inhaling, lengthening to the spine. Exhaling, we're folding down into hamstring stretch. Couple more breaths. Now let's walk the hands forward and shift forward. Let's bring both hands inside that front foot, coming into lizard or dragon pose. You can hang out here. If you want to lower down a little farther, you can. If you want to lower down onto blocks or a bolster, that's a very nice option. And if you want to, roll onto the outside edge of your front foot so that your knee falls out to the side. That's also a nice option. I'll give you some more hip opening, which again, is one of our themes for the day. Lizard or dragon, inhaling and exhaling. Use that sinking breath. I like that sinking breath quite a lot, you might notice. When you use the sinking breath, that exhale is where your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. That's your rest and digest nervous system. That's what lets the muscles relax. Your blood pressure actually lowers, your heart rate actually slows a little bit when you exhale deeply. Let's walk ourselves back up to our hands. We can step that left leg back and we'll step the right leg forward. Again, we're framing the foot first. So the left hand is inside the right foot, the right hand is outside the right foot. We have a long spine. We inhale to lift up. We exhale back down. We inhale to lift. We exhale down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now we'll inhale to rise up into Anjaneyasana with those arm options, cactus arms, prayer hands, or extended arms up. Sinking the hips forward and down. Stretching our quads. Breathing and sinking. A couple more breaths. And then pressing back into Hanumanasana, half split. Folding forward, long spine. Inhaling for length in the spine. Exhaling to press deeper. Feeling that stretch back here in the hamstrings. Inhaling and exhaling to sink. Another breath or two. Now we can walk our hands forward and bring both hands inside that right foot, that front foot. For lizard or dragon, we can stay up here, we can lower down, we can lower onto blocks or a bolster. You can also roll to the outside edge of this front foot, this right foot. Let the knee fall out to the side, opening the hip a little bit more, using sinking breath to find more depth and more openness in the pose. Find what works for you. It's your practice. As always, we're letting go of any expectation or competition. Just trying to stay in the moment and feel your body, feel what works for your body. Let's rise back up. And we'll move into our restorative portion now. I promised you hip openers, and we'll be getting to those in a bit, but we're going to start with a wide leg forward fold, a straddle, a seated straddle. So you might want to sit on a blanket. You might want some rolled up towels under your knees so that your knees don't lock out and become uncomfortable over the course of the pose. These are all options. Now, I'm going to need something to bolster myself. I have some options here. If I have a sturdy bolster, I can just prop it up and lean onto it with my forehead. And that will give me support to keep a nice long spine as I stay in the pose. I could also just pile a bunch of stuff up on the floor to achieve the same end. If I have enough stuff to pile up to get to that level, I can put my blocks under here. So do what works for you, but find enough height in your support that your spine isn't hunched over and rounded, but you have a little bit of length left in your spine here as you fold forward into this seated straddle. Be here for a few moments, so make any adjustments you need to be comfortable. Hang out. Close your eyes. And focus on your breath. Inhale and exhale. Hinging forward. If you need to adjust anything as we go along, feel free. Maybe something's too easy or too hard and you want to adjust it one way or the other. Your practice, it's your choice. You can raise your hips as far off the floor as you need to make the pose work. beginning to rise back up. Just take a moment for the blood to come back to your brain. And from that forward fold pose, we're going to move now into a heart opening pose. We're doing Supta Baddha Konasana today. That's the reclined version of the Baddha Konasana pose we practiced earlier. A couple of options here. You can lie on your back on the floor with the soles of your feet together, your legs making a diamond shape. You can also create a little ramp to be more reclined on, which is what I'm going to do. If you have just a pile of pillows you want to pile up and then rest one big pillow on top of it to make a little ramp, you can do it that way. If you have any props, you can also use your blocks and a bolster to make a ramp. You might even just prop something against your sofa or chair or something. Whatever works. If you want a ramp, you've got a ramp. Now, I also want some support for my legs. This could be blocks or pillows under my thighs so I'm not sinking too much that I feel strain on my inner thighs in this pose, in this hip opening pose. Another nice option is to take a blanket and roll it kind of like a long noodle and wrap it over the ankles and then under the ankles. Just kind of gives you some support. Tension kind of holds the legs up a little bit. But again, you could put pillows or rolled up blankets or blocks here as well. Just make your way back to whatever version of a reclining position you'd like, on the floor or on a bolster. Arms can be at your sides, out to the side. If you're lying on the floor, you might play with extending your arms overhead if you like to do that. I wouldn't do it if I'm up here because my arms don't have any support. If you'd like to put a washcloth or something over your eyes, or your eye pillow, that's fine. Just check in with your body. Make sure everything feels supported and comfortable. Make sure your arms can relax, your shoulders can relax, your chest can relax. Make sure your legs are loose, they're just melting down, they're not feeling any stress or strain. There's no effort to support anything. And again, this is a heart-opening pose. So we can practice drawing the breath in and out. Imagine it flowing through the heart. You might imagine there's light associated with that breath. And you might use this time, these few minutes, to think about someone you know or maybe someone you don't know. Someone in need, possibly sick, possibly just distressed. And send them some loving kindness. Wishing them comfort, wishing them health. You can always use this loving kindness meditation, because even though you're sending out those good vibrations to someone else, it's actually very good for you as well. Follow that breath through your heart and send that light out. eyes are covered, we can uncover them now. We can roll to one side and press ourselves up. Next up, we'll do some lateral flexion, open up the sides of the body. And for this, we'll need perhaps a rolled up blanket. Nothing as big as a big bolster. We'll be lying sideways across it. I'm going to use this pillow. Now, you might want to keep something else handy in case you need support for your head. Get this out of the way. So, kind of dropping onto one hip here with the pillow or the rolled up blanket at your side. We're going to lie sideways across it so it supports us in the lower ribs and waist right through here. I'm going to roll this up a little bit. So it just gives me a bit of flexion in my spine here, a little bit of openness on the top side of the body. Now from here, I can hang out just like this if I'd like to. I can also extend the legs out, perhaps stacking the feet, perhaps bringing the top foot in front of the bottom foot. If you're going to keep your knees together, think about putting a towel or a blanket between your legs here for comfort. Nice option. You can also extend your bottom arm out. And here's where if you need support for your head to be comfortable, go ahead and put something there if you'd like to. And then finally, you can also extend your top arm over. This gives you more openness. So this is a fairly full expression of the pose. But the most important thing is that you feel comfortable and supported. So find what works for you. You might think about drawing your breath, focusing on expanding the ribs on the top side of your body. And we're switching sides. You can either flip around or go end to end. Just sort of sit on the other hip. Tuck your blanket or pillow under your waist. Lie over it so it feels supported. So you have openness in the front and the side of your body. You can lie however you like. You could put cushion between your knees. You can extend your legs. You can support your head. You can extend your arms. Find what works best. Settle in. Relax into it. And bring the breath into that top side of your ribcage. And taking a deep breath, pressing ourselves back up. We've got one more hip opener today, which is frog pose. Supported frog pose in restorative is a little easier than normal frog pose. You can use as much support as you need to get yourself as high off the floor as you like. You need enough length in your support that you can have your hips on and also have support for your head. So allow yourself enough support for that and enough height that you can open your hips. And you might want to have some towels or something to put under your knees coming into frog. So my knees are going to be out here somewhere. And I am going to straddle my bolster and lower myself down, walking my knees out to the side, trying to keep kind of a right angle there in the knee and turning the foot out so the foot's not tucked in, it's turned out as much as possible. This is a supported frog pose. It's a really strong hip opener, but you can adjust it as you need to by making the cushions and bolsters as high as you need to find that good level of comfort for you. So if that means you're way up here somewhere, almost on hands and knees, that's okay, as long as you have a little bit of stretch in those inner thighs and those hips opening up. Head supported, spine is long. Settle in, find your breath. Sliding one leg back and then the other. We'll press ourselves up. We can clear away our props, keeping only anything you'd like to use in your Shavasana. If you have something to cover your eyes, it's a nice option. Let's make our way onto our backs. Perhaps you need to adjust the length of your spine by shifting your hips or your shoulder blades. Perhaps you need to move your head a bit to find that good length in your neck. Just become aware of the weight of the body sinking down. Feel those points of contact. Breathing in and out, letting go of any tension. Let the body ground down. All the muscles soften and relax. And you follow your breath into Shavasana. And whenever we're ready to come out of Shavasana, we begin by deepening our breath. We might rock our heads from side to side. We might wiggle our fingers and toes. We can bend our knees and plant our feet, and then roll to one side, stacking hip over hip, shoulder over shoulder. Pausing here for a moment, just to breathe. And then with as little effort as possible, we press ourselves back up to our comfortable seat. Bringing hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. Namaste.